Most people think high blood pressure starts with age, but what if I told you it often starts with habits you repeat every single day without even noticing? And even more shocking, some of those habits feel completely normal. If you're over 60, living in the United States or Canada, this is something you need to hear carefully, because high blood pressure doesn't always announce itself loudly. It builds quietly, silently, until one day it shows up as something serious. Welcome to Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips. I'm Dr. Danzy, and today I'm going to share 5 powerful ways to lower high blood pressure without depending only on medication. And what I'm about to reveal might change how you look at your daily routine. One of my patients, a 71-year-old man, came to me frustrated. He said, "Doctor, I'm taking my BP medicine regularly, but my numbers still fluctuate. Some days it's normal, some days it suddenly goes high." His reports were confusing, nothing consistent, and that's exactly what worried him. He was doing what he was told, taking medication, following basic advice. But something was still off, and this is where most people feel stuck. They think, if medicine is not fully controlling it, what else can I do? But what we discovered next was something he never expected. His blood pressure wasn't just about medicine. It was about patterns, daily patterns, hidden habits, things he was doing without realizing their impact. Let me explain this in the simplest way. Your blood pressure is not just a number, it's a response to how your body is functioning, how you eat, how you move, how you sleep, how you handle stress. Everything is connected, but here's the problem. Most people focus only on the number and ignore the system behind it, and this is where the real mistake happens. Because if you don't fix the system, the number keeps coming back, again and again. One of my patients, a 68-year-old woman, had been on BP medication for years. Still, her readings were unpredictable. She told me, "I feel like I'm doing everything right, but something is not improving." And that's when we looked deeper, not at her reports, but at her routine, her day, her habits. And what we found was surprisingly simple, but powerful. She had long gaps between meals. She would sit for hours without movement, and her sleep timing was irregular. Nothing extreme, nothing alarming, but combined together, they were putting silent pressure on her system. And this is more common than you think, especially after 60, because your body becomes more sensitive, more reactive, less forgiving to small imbalances. Now here's a question you need to ask yourself. Is your daily routine supporting your heart or silently stressing it? Because most people don't realize this. High blood pressure is not always about one big cause. It's about small repeated triggers that slowly build up. A large community health review involving seniors showed that nearly 45% of people with uncontrolled BP were not failing because of medication, but because of daily lifestyle patterns that were quietly affecting their body. Think about that. Almost half. And they didn't even know it. Now let's talk about the first thing that silently affects your BP. Something you do every single day, and most people never question it. Your morning routine. What you do in the first hour after waking up sets the tone for your entire day. One of my patients had a habit of waking up and immediately checking his phone. News, messages, updates. Within minutes, his mind was active, alert, sometimes even stressed. And his body followed. His heart rate increased. His BP spiked early in the morning, and he didn't even realize it because it felt normal. But once we changed that, no phone for the first 30 minutes, a calm start, light movement, his mornings became stable, and his BP followed, because your body needs a smooth start, not a sudden rush. Now here's something even more important. Hydration. Many seniors underestimate this, but your body depends on proper fluid balance. When you don't drink enough water, your blood becomes slightly thicker, your circulation slows down, and your heart has to work harder, which increases pressure. One of my patients started increasing water intake slowly throughout the day, nothing extreme, just consistent. Within weeks, her BP readings became more stable. Her energy improved, and she felt lighter, because sometimes the simplest habits create the biggest impact. Now let's talk about something most people overlook completely: movement. Not exercise, not intense workouts, just movement. After 60, your body doesn't need pressure, it needs consistency. One of my patients used to sit for long hours, watching TV, reading, minimal movement, and even though he thought he was resting, his body was becoming more stagnant. Blood circulation slowed, and his BP remained slightly elevated. When we introduced one simple habit, standing up every hour and walking for just a few minutes, everything started to change, slowly, naturally, because the body responds to rhythm, not intensity. Now here's where things get even more interesting, because there's a habit many people believe is harmless, but it's quietly affecting their BP every day: salt. Now you might think, I don't eat too much salt, and that's exactly what most people say. But here's the reality: salt doesn't only come from what you add, it comes from hidden sources, packaged foods, processed meals, even everyday items you don't suspect. One of my patients wasn't adding extra salt at all, but he was consuming processed snacks regularly, and that was enough to keep his BP elevated. When we reduced those hidden sources, his numbers improved, because sometimes it's not about what you see, it's about what you overlook. Now let's break one of the biggest myths. If I take my BP medicine, I don't need to worry about lifestyle. It sounds convenient, it feels reassuring, but it's incomplete, because medication supports your body. It doesn't replace your habits, and this misunderstanding is what keeps many people stuck, because they rely on medicine. But continue the same routine, and the body stays under stress. Now imagine this: you fix small habits, you support your body naturally, you reduce internal stress. What happens? Your BP becomes easier to control, your system becomes more stable, and everything starts working together. That's the real goal. Not replacing medicine, but supporting your body so it doesn't struggle. A controlled observational group of seniors showed that those who improved just 3 daily habits saw noticeable BP stability within weeks, without changing their medication, because the body responds to support. Now think about this carefully. Your BP is not your enemy. It's a signal that something in your system needs attention. And once you understand that, everything changes, because you stop fighting the number and start supporting your body, and that's where real transformation begins. This is exactly what I teach here on Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips, because after 60, health is not about extreme changes. It's about smart, consistent habits that your body can trust. If you're finding this helpful, take a moment to subscribe to Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips, because every video here is designed to help you understand your body better and stay ahead of hidden risks like this. And if you know someone over 60, someone struggling with BP fluctuations, share this with them, because sometimes one small change can prevent something much bigger. Now let me ask you something. Out of everything you heard so far, which habit feels familiar? Because awareness is the first step, and once you see the pattern, you can change it. And what I'm going to share next are the exact daily actions that helped my patients finally bring their BP under control, naturally. And once you start noticing these patterns, something shifts. You stop guessing, and you start taking control. One of my patients, a 74-year-old woman, had been struggling with high blood pressure for years. Her readings would go up, then come down, then rise again. No consistency. And that uncertainty created fear, because she never knew when it would spike. She told me, I feel like I'm always reacting, never in control. And that's exactly how most people feel. But what happened next changed everything for her. We didn't start with medication changes. We started with awareness and one simple daily action: breathing. Now you might think, breathing is automatic. It's natural. But how you breathe matters more than you think, because your breathing directly affects your nervous system, and your nervous system controls your blood pressure. When you breathe fast, shallow, or irregular, your body feels alert, Under stress, even if you don't realize it, your heart rate increases, your blood vessels tighten, and your BP rises. But when you slow your breathing, deep, steady, controlled, your body receives a different signal. It relaxes, your heart rate slows, your vessels open, and your BP begins to drop naturally. One of my patients started practicing slow breathing for just 5 minutes, twice a day. Morning and evening, nothing complicated, just consistent. Within a few weeks, her BP readings became more stable, but more importantly, she felt calmer, because her body was no longer in a constant state of tension. Now here's something most people don't connect with BP at all. Your mind, your thoughts, your internal dialogue. One of my patients, a 69-year-old man, didn't feel stressed in the usual sense. He wasn't overwhelmed. He wasn't anxious. But his mind was always active, thinking, planning, worrying quietly, and that constant mental activity kept his body in a low-level stress state all day and even at night, and that was enough to keep his BP slightly elevated, because your body doesn't differentiate between physical stress and mental stress. It reacts to both. Once we introduced simple mental pauses, moments of quiet, short breaks during the day, his system began to settle, and his BP followed. Because sometimes the pressure is not outside, it's inside. Now, let's talk about something that surprises many people: meal timing. Not just what you eat, but when you eat. One of my patients had a habit of skipping breakfast, then eating a heavy lunch and an even heavier dinner. Late in the evening, this pattern created imbalance, long gaps, sudden spikes, and stress on the body, because your system prefers rhythm, consistency. When we adjusted her meals, balanced timing, lighter dinners, regular spacing, her BP started stabilizing, because your body works best when it knows what to expect. Now here's another small change. That creates a powerful impact. Post-meal movement. After you eat, what do you usually do? Sit, lie down, watch TV? Most people do, and it feels harmless. But after eating, your body needs gentle movement to help process food, to regulate circulation. Without it, your system slows down, and your BP can stay slightly elevated. One of my patients started doing just one thing: a slow 10-minute walk after meals. That's it. No exercise routine, no pressure. And within weeks, his digestion improved, his energy improved, and his BP readings became more consistent. Because movement supports your system in ways you don't always see immediately. Now let's break another myth. I don't need to change much. My BP is only slightly high. This is one of the most dangerous assumptions, because slight elevation, repeated daily, becomes a long-term problem. It slowly affects your blood vessels, makes them stiffer, less flexible, and over time, this increases your risk of heart-related complications. A regional health analysis of older adults showed that individuals with even mildly elevated BP had nearly 1.8 times higher risk of cardiovascular strain over time, compared to those who maintained stable levels, not extreme, just consistent stability. And that's the key: consistency, not perfection. Now here's where everything connects: breathing, mind, meals, movement. These are not separate. They work together, and when you align them, your body responds. Naturally, without force. One of my patients made 4 simple changes: slow breathing, regular meals, light movement, and mental breaks. Within a month, his BP stabilized more than it had in years, not because of one big change, but because of consistent small actions. And this is the difference most people don't realize. They look for one solution, one fix, but the body works as a system, and when you support the system, everything improves. If you're finding this helpful, take a moment to subscribe to Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips, because every video here is designed to help you understand your body in a simple, practical way. And if you know someone over 60, someone dealing with BP issues, share this with them because these small habits can make a big difference. Now take a moment and think, which of these habits are you already doing and which ones need a small adjustment? Because change doesn't happen all at once. It happens step by step. And in the next part, I'm going to show you how these small steps come together to create long-term control and protect your heart for the future. And when these small habits start coming together, something powerful begins to happen. Your body stops reacting and starts stabilizing. One of my patients, a 76-year-old man, had lived for years with the belief that high blood pressure was just a part of aging, something to manage, not something to improve. He took his medication, he followed basic advice, but deep inside, he had accepted that things would only get worse over time. And that belief is more common than you think, because many seniors feel the same way. They think, this is how it is now. But what happened next completely changed his perspective. Instead of focusing only on his BP readings, we focused on his daily system, his habits, his rhythm, his awareness, and slowly, step by step, things began to shift. Not overnight, but steadily. His morning readings became calmer, his fluctuations reduced, and most importantly, he started feeling in control again, because that's the real transformation. Not just better numbers, but confidence. Now let's bring everything into a simple, clear picture you can follow, because at this point, you don't need more information. You need clarity. You need a simple way to apply this in your daily life. The first thing is your morning start. Wake up. Give your body a calm beginning. No sudden stress, no immediate rush into noise or screens. Just a few minutes of quiet, light movement, and steady breathing. This sets your nervous system into balance. And your BP follows. The second is your hydration. Start your day with water. Continue throughout the day, not all at once, but consistently, because your circulation depends on it, and even slight dehydration can increase pressure inside your system. The third is your meals. Not extreme diets, not restrictions, just balance. Eat at regular times. Avoid long gaps. Keep dinners lighter. And give your body time to process food before sleep. This supports your internal rhythm and reduces unnecessary stress. The fourth is movement, not exercise pressure, not intense routines, just natural movement. Walk, stretch, stay active in small ways because your body is designed to move, and when it moves, your circulation improves, your pressure stabilizes. The fifth, and most overlooked, is your mental state, your internal calm, your breathing, your ability to pause, because no matter how perfect your routine is, if your mind is constantly active, your body remains under pressure, and that reflects in your BP. Now let's bring back the biggest myth. If I'm taking medicine, I'm already doing enough. And now you can see why that's not the full picture, because medicine supports, but your lifestyle controls. And when both work together, that's when real stability happens. One of the most encouraging patterns I've seen in my patients is that those who combine small lifestyle changes with their treatment often experience smoother BP patterns, fewer sudden spikes, and better overall heart stability because the body responds to support, not force. Now think about your own routine, not in a complicated way, just honestly. Where are the small gaps? Where is the imbalance? Because that's where your opportunity is. Not in doing everything perfectly, but in improving one thing at a time. A consistent observation across senior health programs has shown that individuals who improve daily habits gradually often reduce their long-term cardiovascular strain by nearly 25 to 30%. Without extreme changes, just steady consistency. And that's the approach that works. Not pressure, not fear, but awareness and action, one step at a time. Now let me ask you something important. If your body is giving you signals, fatigue, fluctuations, discomfort, are you listening or are you waiting for numbers to confirm it? Because your body always speaks first. Numbers come later. And those who learn to listen early stay ahead of the problem. That's the real difference. One of my patients told me something I'll never forget. He said, "For years I was checking my BP, but I never understood my body." And that changed everything for him. Because once he understood his patterns, he stopped reacting and started preventing. That's the shift I want for you. If you're over 60, living in the United States or Canada, you don't need confusion. You don't need complicated plans. You need clarity, simple habits, and consistency. Because your heart doesn't need extreme effort. It needs steady support. This is exactly what I focus on here in Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips, helping you understand your body in a way that actually fits your life so you can stay ahead of risks without feeling overwhelmed. Now, as you finish watching this, don't try to change everything at once. Just choose one habit, one small step, and start there. Because once that becomes part of your routine, the next step becomes easier. And before you realize it, your entire system begins to shift. Your BP becomes more stable, your energy improves, and your confidence returns. Because real health is not built in one big moment. It's built in small, daily decisions. Take care of your routine, and your heart will take care of the rest.